The series is set in the year 2418, where the world is transformed into an ultra-futuristic place. Humans are now able to visit other planets through space travel, and the entire galaxy is explorable. In the galaxy, there are low-gravity planets like Earth, and high-gravity planets like Zelion. In order for humans to travel to high-gravity planets, they need to use protective suits. Zelion has 10 times stronger gravity than Earth, and even a spaceship needs to activate a gravity shield to protect the humans. Moving out of this shield will make them instantly fall to the ground, as their weight becomes 10 times heavier. Even a material from Earth thrown to this planet will instantly get flattened and crushed. Moreover, if a person's protective suit is damaged, their body parts will be destroyed. However, the species born on a high-gravity planet possess high-density bones and muscles, which makes them stronger than the species from other planets. Due to the comparatively high gravity of their home planet, the Zelions are known as one of the strongest beings in the universe. One such powerful Zelion is Alara Kitan. She can knock down doors and walls, and crush a solid block of titanium, or reshape it into a sphere with her bare hands. She is a security member of an exploratory spaceship known as the USS Orville. The Orville is tasked to maintain order across the planets, and also repel any dangers from other galaxies if needed. The Orville is operated by several other personnel. Most of them are humans, and some are aliens. Its leader, Captain Mercer, is a human who is known for getting things done one way or another. He's also known for inventing Family Guy. The series then shows a planet named Sargass IV, where two people are being interviewed. It appears as if they have committed some sort of crime, and the interviewer keeps asking them if they are sorry. Everyone is wearing a strange badge, and it has an upvote and downvote option on it. Soon after, the public begins voting if the two criminals should be published, and the live vote count is displayed on TV. I guess Reddit made it to the future. Later, the criminals are brought to the punishment room, but when one of them tries running away, the cops shoot him down. Following this, the second criminal is sat on a chair, and a device is placed on his head. As soon as the downvotes reach 10 million, he is electrocuted, and the scene changes. A few days later, the Orville approaches Sargass IV in order to look for two of their missing researchers. The strange thing about the planet is that its culture is almost identical to that of 21st century Earth. Before initiating the mission, Captain Mercer reveals to his group that the two researchers had been sent to Sargass IV to study the place, but 1 month ago they lost all contact with them. He then assigns a team of 4, Commander Kelly, Dr. Claire, Lieutenant Lamar, and Lieutenant Alara, to head down to Sargass IV. Since Alara is different and has unusual patterns on her face, she wears a traditional Sargass hat and covers her nose with a band-aid before leaving. When the 4 arrive on the planet, they notice that it is awfully similar to 21st century Earth. Strangely, the people use their badges as if it is a daily part of their life. For instance, a man compliments his friend's weight loss, so he is given an upvote, and another man accidentally spills his coffee onto a stranger, prompting him to get a downvote. In short, the Sargass IV is a completely democratic country where the general population decides everything, including a person's fate. However, the Orville group doesn't pay much attention to it and simply proceeds with their mission. A while later, they come across a bookstall and inquire about the researchers. Instead of answering, the owner hands them 4 badges, mentioning that it is a crime to walk without one. As the 4 are walking through the streets, Lieutenant Lamar tries to have some fun and starts dancing with a nearby statue. Commander Kelly immediately tells him to stop, but Lamar, being Lamar, continues showcasing his weird moves. Just then, some people around them start clicking videos of the dance, and as a result, Lamar finally gets down from the statue. Shortly after, the group reaches a cafe where they notice a woman being turned down because of her massive downvote count. It turns out that the people with a large number of downvotes are shunned by the society of this world. Meanwhile, the group approaches a cafe employee, Lysella, and shows her the picture of the 2 researchers that went missing. Surprisingly, they are told that the 2 are popular people, as they had been corrected recently. But before they can interrogate any further, all of a sudden, the downvotes on Lamar's badge start increasing at an exponential rate. The group is perplexed by what's happening, and just then, a TV report displays the footage of Lamar dancing with the statue. Strangely, the reporter comments that Lamar was humping the statue, which turns out to be a deity on that planet. Lamar shall henceforth be referred to as the God Humper. Confused, the group decides to return back to their planet, but when they reach outside, a large mob of people surround them. Lamar tries his best to claim his innocence, but sadly, a bunch of officers show up and take him away. He is then brought to prison, where a man named Willix, who is a publicity officer by profession, approaches him. In this world, publicity officers are the equivalent of lawyers, but their jobs are contrastingly different. Willix tries to ask Lamar his side of the story, but the latter mentions that he was simply dancing. He also claims to be unaware of all the rules in the world, prompting Willix to tell him everything. He mentions that in Sargass 4, everything is democratically run, so if a person commits a crime, the public will determine his or her fate by a voting system. If said person reaches 10 million downvotes, they will be corrected. A correction is a procedure in which a criminal is electrocuted until all of their memories are wiped. Hearing this, Lamar becomes terrified and begs Willix to help him, but the latter mentions that there is a legal process. Lamar will have to go through a series of interviews, which will be displayed on live TV, and if the audience likes his apology, they might upvote him and save him. Hence, their best chance to escape the correction is to prepare a perfect apology speech. Travis Scott wouldn't stand a chance on this planet. A while later, the Orville group visits Lamar in the waiting room and finds out about the correction that he's going to face. Hearing the word correction, Alara remembers that the cafe employee Lysella also mentioned that their two friends had been corrected, and that is why they are so famous in this world. Hence, Alara, along with Dr. Claire, decides to interrogate Lysella, while Commander Kelly stays behind with Lamar. In the next scene, Lamar is being readied for his first apology interview, while Willix and Claire try their best to motivate him. However, the session goes awfully wrong when Lamar makes a mockery out of himself. Soon, the people start the voting system, and Lamar receives a whopping 4 million downvotes. Elsewhere, Alara and Dr. Claire approach Lysella and start interrogating her about their missing colleagues. Lysella mentions that one was corrected and sent to a facility, while the other one was shot and killed as he tried to run away. A while later, when Alara and Claire are in the bathroom, Lysella approaches them and accidentally notices Alara's uncovered face. Scared, she tries running away, but the Orville duo calms her down and takes her out for a drink. There, Alara and Claire finally reveal that they are aliens, and that they have come to take their friends back. Soon, Lysella also starts feeling comfortable, and she tells them that the researchers were apprehended for not giving up their seat to a pregnant woman. After this, the three head to the correctional facility and finally find one of the researchers that was corrected. He appears to be very calm and has no recollection of what he did. Seeing his terrible state, Dr. Claire immediately takes him back to the Orville. On the other hand, Lamar goes to his second apology interview, but once again, things go wrong when he forcefully high-fives the audience. This time, the downvote count reaches 9.3 million. Back at the Orville, everyone is anxious about Lamar as time is running out. Just then, Captain Mercer comes up with a plan. He realizes that in order to defeat the voting system of Sargass 4, they need an inside person. Hence, he takes the tough decision to bring Lysella to their base. After she is brought to the Orville, she is taken aback to see the facilities and employees inside it. Wasting no time, Captain Mercer conducts a meeting and asks Lysella if there is any way to change the people's perception towards Lamar. The girl thinks for a while and responds that they might have a chance if the people get to know the good facts about Lamar. Hearing this, the Orville scientist Isaac puts forth a plan to hack into the voting database, and Mercer gives him the heads up. Elsewhere, Lamar is brought to the correction room, where a live vote count is being displayed. The entire population will have 10 minutes to vote, and at the end of the duration, if it reaches 10 million, Lamar will be corrected. As expected, he gets off to the worst start possible. Meanwhile, at the Orville, Lysella mentions that the people on Sargass 4 have sympathy for the criminals who take care of their grandmothers, have a military record, and love their dogs. Hearing this, Isaac uses his alpha tech skills and hacks into the voting database. He then fabricates the good facts about Lamar and spams it into the system. Surprisingly, the plan works, and several people start upvoting Lamar. With this, the votes are equally divided, and Lamar is saved. A few weeks later, the group again decides to inspect another planet, which resembles medieval Earth. This time, Commander Kelly, Isaac, and Lieutenant Mallory are tasked with the mission. Since the planet consists of very medieval people, the group is strictly ordered to not come in contact with anyone, as it may result in cultural contamination. Shortly after, when the shuttle reaches the planet, they notice that it looks just like Earth. However, it is several millennia in the past. Commander Kelly ventures out first, and when she peers through her binoculars, she notices a village nearby. After a while, as she is inspecting the place, two little girls suddenly spot her. Weirded out by her look, they immediately start running away, but one of them trips and falls, causing her head to bleed. Although Kelly is under strict commands to not come in contact with anyone everyone on the planet. Her maternal instincts can't simply let the girl bleed out. Hence, she approaches the little girl and introduces herself. She then takes out one of her futuristic devices and heals the girl's wound. Unfortunately, when Kelly turns back, she notices that several medieval people have noticed her, prompting her to run away from the place. Later, when the entire crew is back to base to conclude their findings, the mysterious planet vanishes in the blink of an eye. This leaves everyone stunned, but Isaac, being the smartest guy in the Orville, proposes a theory. He mentions that the planet is locked in a multi-phasic orbit. Such orbits are very rare because half of it lies in a universe and the other half in a separate universe. This is why the planet suddenly disappeared, as it has now been teleported to another universe where it can complete its orbit. Finally, Isaac concludes by saying that based on the geometry and mass of the orbit, the planet should return to this universe in exactly 11 days. Hearing this, Captain Mercer and the group decide to wait for the planet to return. In the next scene, Isaac's assumption comes to be true, as after 11 days of waiting, the planet finally returns. However, he senses something very weird. On further inspection, he finds out that although the planet has returned after 11 days, it has become significantly populated and advanced, and now it resembles 14th century Earth. This shocks everyone in the room, and Isaac simplifies the phenomenon in a simple way. 11 days may have passed for the Orville, but 700 years have passed for the planet. This means that 700 years have passed since Commander Kelly and her team visited the planet. Astonished by the finding, the team again ventures into the planet, and this time Captain Mercer also joins them. At first they decide to find some clothes so that they can blend in with the people. Hence, they approach a nearby hut and try stealing some clothes, but just then a lady emerges with her child. She confronts Kelly and begs her to bless her child. Although confused, Kelly hesitantly obliges. Because of the incident, the group realizes that something really bad has happened. Later, when they put on their new clothes and continue their journey, they come across some corpses hanging on a pole. When Captain Mercer inquires about them, a man reveals that they were hanged for spreading blasphemy about their god, Kelly. That's not all. The group also finds out that the whole village worships Kelly, and criminals are executed in her name. Even a small kid is forced to study when his mother mentions that Kelly is watching him. Stunned, the group reaches a religious temple where they find an enormous statue of their god, Kelly. This is when they realize that Kelly's contact with the people 700 years ago changed everything. Since she looked modern and healed the girl using her device, rumors spread around the planet that Kelly is a god. As a result, they started worshipping her, and even after 7 centuries, they still regard her as their savior. This is a big problem for the group, as they have breached a major rule of the Orville. Hence, they try to sort out the problem before it reaches the higher authorities. After a bit of thinking, Kelly decides to confront the head of state, Volantis, and reveal that she is a mortal. Shortly after, she reaches a large mansion, and when the guards and Volantis recognize her, they immediately drop to their knees as a sign of respect. Kelly tells them to get up and starts explaining that she is not a god. Expectedly, no one believes her, so Kelly cuts her own palm and draws out some blood. She then uses the same device to heal her wound. Volantis is baffled by her healing ability, but Kelly asserts that anyone is capable of doing it with the help of the device. She then suggests Volantis do the same, and when he cuts his palm and uses the device, it works. This, along with the fact that Kelly bleeds like any other being, finally convinces Volantis that she is not a god. He then promises to spread the news to his people, claiming that they too should know the truth. After Kelly and the group leaves, Volantis proceeds to prepare his men to spread the news throughout the world. However, one of his greedy assistants, who believes that Kelly is necessary to maintain control over the people, stabs him in the back and kills him. Following this, the scene fast forwards by 11 days, where the group is seen waiting for the planet to reappear. Soon, Isaac detects some movements, and the planet, which is now transformed into 21st century Earth, emerges. Without wasting any time, he conducts some tests and finds out that the people are still worshipping Kelly. However, she has also become controversial, as thousands of people are being killed by terrorists in her name. The group is devastated to learn that their plan did not work. Just when it seems like they are in trouble, Kelly comes up with an idea. She proposes that she herself will head to the planet and stay there her entire life so that she can prove that she's not a god. However, Captain Mercer immediately forbids it, explaining that this is too risky. Just then, Isaac steps forward and declares that he'll do it. Since he's a robot and knows a great deal about science, the people will believe him. Furthermore, he will also survive for the next 700 years. hours, as it is only 700 seconds for him. Although Captain Mercer and his group are still skeptical, they decide to let him go, as it is the only way to repair the damage. After this, the scene again skips to 11 days later, when the planet reappears. This time, it is transformed into a highly futuristic world, with gigantic cities in it. Meanwhile, a spaceship approaches the Orville and asks for permission to enter. Captain Mercer approves of it, and two futuristic-looking aliens, along with Isaac, enter. At first, the two thank Captain Mercer and the group for sending Isaac, as he was one of the driving forces behind the planet's development. When Kelly inquires if she is still being worshipped, the aliens reply that they stopped doing that a long time ago. However, the people are still grateful that Kelly and the other aliens visited their planet, as it gave them the motivation and willpower to make their planet similar. The episode ends as the aliens return to their planet, while the Orville continues its journey of exploring. To see what happens next, watch the second part in Series Recapped.